Hello lads, this time I want to talk about Simagic Haptic Reactor. Who needs it, how good it is, and what do you need in order to run them standalone with any pedals manufacturer. To get the Haptic Reactor working, you'll need a few things besides the unit itself. Control box, a power supply and USB-A to USB-B cable to connect the control box to your PC. And yes, even this cable isn't included in the package, you'll have to buy it separately from any electronics store. And HCB bracket, but that's optional and depends on how you plan to mount your reactor to your pedals. I decided to save some money and picked up a metal bracket from my local hardware store as it cost me 10 times less. Without the HCB bracket and with one Haptic Reactor, in total it cost me 150 euro, not cheap at all, considering my V3 pedals were 250 euro with discounts. So after it, adding an extra reactor would cost you only the price of the reactor itself and the mounting option. By the way, I got mine from simhub.pro store as it was the cheapest offer across Europe at the time I purchased them, and I have 3% discount promo code for any purchase for you in the video description. Okay, here's my set, now let's unbox it and see what's inside. And the first gonna be P1000 accessory power supply. Basically inside it's the power supply itself. Come on. And the wire for your socket. Nothing interesting. Control box module, pretty small box. And it's written P2000 on this one. Inside it's the control box module itself and the double-sided tape. Don't worry, it's cutted as I already used it to mount on my rig, you'll have the full one. And basically again, that's it, no wires inside. And the reactor. Let's see what's inside. Wow, instruction. How you can mount them on your Simagic pedals. Reactor itself with a wire. Some pocket with accessories. And yep, it's hidden in there. Allen key. Let's see what's inside of this pocket. Okay, you have some bolts for the mounting and kinda nice thing, the cable organizer. It's only one here because second one I already mounted on my rig, so you have two of those in this pocket. There's one more thing not in this box, I haven't put it back. It's the round mounting plate for your haptics, as I didn't want it to unscrew it from my custom bracket for my pedals. But basically this round thing comes inside with the haptics. It's a bit strange design decision, but the haptics mount from the front side. You need to attach the mounting plate to your bracket first, as it's being screwed from the inside, and only then you can mount the haptics unit itself. Depending on the design of your pedals, it might cause some issues or inconvenience during the installation. Make sure you have access to the front of the bolts of the reactor. All you need to convert your own custom brackets, as did I. There are options to use 3D printed adapters, but I decided to use the metal brackets from the nearby hardware store to make the haptics connection stiffer for the full effects range, but believe me, they kicks hard. We will test it later. Oops. So this is the cable that doesn't come in the box and you have to buy it separately, this USB-A to USB-B, and the entire setup looks like this. So this USB comes in this port to connect to your PC. Haptics goes in any of those ports, it doesn't matter, you can configure them in the wanted to say SimHub, but it's Simagic Manager, and the power supply goes right here. That's it, now let's test them. The ClubSport V3 pedals come with the standard rumble motors, so let's compare them with the Simagic Haptics, which costs about half the price of the V3 pedals itself. When you're wearing shoes, you can barely feel it. No, you can feel it if you really focus on those feelings. But in an intense race, you don't want to waste this focus on the pedals feeling, and you cannot configure it to make it harder or weaker. You have no control over them. Damn, they're shaking my entire rig, you will definitely won't miss those effects. It's not active pedal, but still good for use. For ABS I'm running them only at 42% and still it's pretty noticeable already. And I'm only using ABS effect, but we will come to it later. You can adjust them at your taste, changing the strength and frequency to simulate different kind of effects, like from the low frequency for the ABS kicks to high frequency limiting the wheel lock or any other surface effects at your taste. What about the noise? Well, yes, they are loud. Besides making your entire rig shake and resonate, they produce enough noise to disturb people you might live with in the same room. But apart from that, it's not too bad. Now let's test it in the various sim racing games to see what exactly effects we might get from it, and the first one's gonna be ACC, at the down of its career but still popular. So I'm enabling ABS in the SimPro Manager only, and let's try it out. Let's try to get some speed before. And brake now. Yep, you have it, but might be because of the cold tires or something, I don't know, but it's like it enables on a pretty short period of time. Oh, finally. Yep, finally we felt it. Now it's good. You mostly feel it when your steering wheel is turned, because like on the straight line the ABS kicks in a smaller amount. You feel it triggering, but it's not as hard as when you're braking with the turned wheel, which is kinda makes more sense. So next one's gonna be traction control. I'm using the maximum high frequency, so the wheel feels like vibration on the car's body when it's sleeping. And let's try it out. Let's use maximum traction to trigger it definitely. And yep, it works. You can see from the hood menu, once the traction kicks in, haptics also start to work. Next one I want to test is the gear shift, and it's something I discovered for myself. I haven't used it. I don't want to have this feeling on my only brake pedal, but it's something interesting. You need to play with the vibration duration, and basically with the vibration, only with the vibration duration to have the full cycle. But this thing is kind of interesting on how it kicks in, like when you're inserting the next gear, like the car jumps ahead, and so, like kind of nice effect. So let's try it out. Oh, yep. So as you can here, you can even see if I'm not holding the brake pedal. It's pretty nice. You know, it's something how it simulates maybe bass shaker on gearing up and down, like perfect thing for the immersion, perfect. Not sure if it will help you with your performance, but for the immersion, awesome. That's awesome. Why do you need to play with the vibration duration? Because sometimes it doesn't have full cycle and you don't have full kick. I found that 97 milliseconds is the almost perfect one to have full cycle and full kick, because like if it would be smaller, it works, but you see it's not as noticeable because haptic doesn't have full kick. And if you increase it too much, you will have a double kick. Double, dudun, dudun. Someone it's single sometimes, but sometimes double or even triple. Unfortunately, it's not handled. You cannot handle how many those cycles haptic will make. The only way how you can adjust it, basically, it's to use the proper vibration duration, which I found perfect is about 94, 97. This way you have one full cycle, one full kick to feel that gear change. RPM feedback. Don't know who needs it, but it's there. Yep, now you hear it. It sounds like some electric motor. Of course, you can choose the range. At what range it will start to work and with which power, RPM, trigger range, frequency increase, and the overall strength, but I don't know. Who needs it? It's there. Now to the disappointment part. Wheel lock and wheel sleep, they are not working. Okay, see, I have configured the wheel lock and wheel sleep. But testing wheel sleep. Zero traction. Nothing. No info. And same for the wheel lock. Let's turn off the ABS. Okay, ABS turned off. Let's have a bit of acceleration. And brake. Again. Nothing. Okay, some of you might say, but what about SimHub? Maybe SimPro Manager does not support it. Well, let's check it. So as you can see, ABS is turned off in the SimPro Manager, but ABS is turned on for the Simagic Haptics in the SimHub. And if we will check, oops, I will cut it. And if we will check, ABS works, so SimHub works with the telemetry. Okay, let's turn it off for now and turn on the traction loss. Let's try it. Okay, zero traction. Like we have wheel spin on the rear, no effect. Okay, now it starts to work. Yep. When you already almost lost it, it kicks in. Okay, we do have this effect. Not sure if it will help you in any way, like on the understanding of the car or make your performance better. Fuck. It stalls all the time. But for the immersion, yep, you can have this effect. Next one, wheel spin and lock. Feels like it works, but sometimes, you know, not very, not always. On a wheel lock during the braking it might help, but like it's Assetto Corsa Competizione, you always use the ABS in this game, so not sure in which scenario you might run without it, so you don't need this effect pretty much in there. Still nothing. So it's kind of works, but kind of weird. Kind of weird. Next one, wheel sleep. Provides localized wheel sleep feedback. Let's check. Oops. I have hot tires, so and again, okay, at the end it triggers, most of the time you feel the Fanatec, but the end, when you're already more than 90 degrees turned over your axle, then reactor haptics turned in. So works partially. Do I recommend it for the usage? Most probably not. Most probably not. And basically that's it for the ACC. Okay, now let's see what do we have in the Le Mans Ultimate. Starting from the GT3, let's enable ABS and traction. So we have BMW GT3. Okay, I do feel traction already work. On the cold tires it's pretty easy to trigger it, even in the pits. Starting from the pits, so traction works. What about ABS? Well, yep, same, it also works. And you can even see that the ABS effect on the pedal is being triggered exactly when the lights are start to flash on the dashboard. Like, give me one more time. See? And actually, same for the ABS. Same for the ABS. But ABS effect in this game is so powerful on the steering wheel, so you won't miss it anyway. You won't miss it anyway. However, yep, it's a kind of nice addition that you might have it on a pedal as well. But apart from immersion, it won't give you any information. And it pretty doesn't matter, but we'll come to it later. Next one. Gear shift. Yep, it works. It's there. By the way, when you're dropping to the neutral, it's not being triggered. But upshifting, same as an ACC, works flawlessly. Good. Then my wheel entirely shakes on this ABS effect in the Le Mans Ultimate. RPM. Also there. Again, who needs it, have no idea, but it's there. Now to the disappointments. Wheel slip and wheel lock. Again, nothing. I already tested and I can tell you for sure there's nothing's gonna be. Understeer, no effect. Let me turn off the traction control. Same. We have slipping rear tires. No effect. Totally. Let's try to spin the car. Spinning the car, going sideways, no effect. So it doesn't work, unfortunately. But what about SimHub? Let's see the SimHub effects we are missing from the SimPro Manager. Like wheel spin and lock. Let's check those. It's kinda works sometimes. I definitely had more than one wheel spin, but pedals haven't been activated because, like, you need to understand that there is no raw input telemetry from the game based on which the mechanical part might trigger, and SimHub kinda tries to calculate if it's slipping or losing the traction based on other properties, and it's kinda not something consistent or you can be confident about. So I have rested with it a little bit, and actually I didn't like it because it triggers unexpectedly when you don't expect it, or sometimes it's not being there. So as part of like random immersion effects might be, but if you want to rely on those effects, nope, it won't help you. Let's check traction loss and wheel slip as well. Okay, this one's being triggered indeed. I'm making hard understeer. Oof. Well, in this case it did work. You can feel all this shaking of the car. But again, how consistent it is, like when you entirely lost the car, yep, like for the immersion, might be, it's helpful. But if you want to predict something or feel it on the early stage, no, you won't get it in there. You won't get it. Now let's try it on the hypercars. Only SimPro Manager config, and for the fun fact, I will turn on the ABS because I want to show you one thing. Even though we're in a hypercar and they have no ABS when you brake, you still have the ABS effect. I don't know why. It's pretty odd. But yep, it's there. Even though wheels ain't locked, like I brake about 25%, but effects kicks in. So if you're running the hypercar, better to turn it off. What about traction? Same for the traction. You know, those cars, they actually have traction, okay. They have traction control. This maximum traction. I don't know, I see the green light being flashing. Might be because of the traction. So it's pretty odd. I can't say you like 100% it's traction, is it traction or not. When you're turning under the throttle, yep, it's there. But it's like pretty odd. So again, maybe ABS traction is not something you want to use it for the hypercars. Okay, next one. Pretty obviously would expect hypercars no ABS. Wheel lock effect would be nice here, right? Let's check. But in reality, no wheel lock effect at all. Nothing. Absolute zero. Fanatec rumble motor spins, while the Simagic Haptics not. Unfortunately, no wheel lock effect. Wheel slip. Kinda same. Same as we have for the GT3s. Nothing. Let's turn off traction. While zero traction still didn't feel like it had an instant spin, but still, no, nothing. Nothing. No wheel slip. Again, from the SimHub, of course, those effects will work. But again, guys, it's not the raw game telemetry saying that you should trigger them. It's some computed values based on some other parameters of the game. So how informative they would be, it's hard to tell. You know, how informative and how helpful. I can suggest to use them as they are being triggered in some weird scenarios, like when you does not expect them, or when they should they are not, because of some data. Okay, now at least the wheel lock works, but it's like it might be kind of like an ABS on the hypercars. It triggers when there is no ABS actually. That's funny. That's it for the hypercars. That's it. Okay, finally, it's time for the best simulator of the world and the game where ABS effects indeed make sense. So let's turn on the ABS and traction together and see what we'll have. Zero traction effect, by the way, entirely. But about ABS, yep, ABS is there, as it should. One more try from the traction. Yep, the rear of the car is sliding, but nope, traction is being triggered, but no traction effect. Oof. Lost it a little bit. Well, ABS works, but traction... Even the SimHub tells us that traction control is not supported by the iRacing, so no data available. Okay, the next one, wheel lock and wheel slip from the SimPro Manager. It's pretty easy to test the wheel lock, just turn off, let's turn off the ABS, it shows one, but it's turned off. And just need to brake hard. Yep, as you see, wheels are locked, no effect. But this one, which you heard, it's the wheel slip. Unbelievably, but iRacing does support the slip effect. When you're losing the car, it goes sideways, you do have this effect, basically for the immersion, but it's not enough to predict, you know, to catch it on the early stage and save the car. You get it only when you are unrecoverably done. You're well done. So kinda nice to have this effect for the immersion, but again, it wouldn't help you in a real situation. Gear shift works flawlessly as in other titles. All fine. RPMs. Same. If your tastes are specific, that's for you. Now for the SimHub. As we already seen, traction control is not supported, wheel spin and wheel lock either. Traction loss and wheel slip, they are kinda supported, but we already checked that they're natively being supported by SimPro Manager as well. So I don't see any reason to use it from the SimHub, as they might be calculated on some other telemetry data and be misleading at some point. For the immersion, might be, but for the consistency and giving you information what's happening with the car, I would say not. And most of the time they kicks in when you're already done and you're flying into the wall. Now let's talk about who actually needs this. There are two main reasons to use haptics: immersion and information that can help you drive faster. The first one is pretty obvious. You can set plenty of effects to enjoy your race, as you might use different frequencies and intensities to simulate them. In this case, you will want to mount 2 or 3 units on your pedals for the best feeling. But what if you want your gear to help you improve your performance, not just overwhelm you with effects? And that road is pretty narrow. In ACC you don't need to take care of braking at ABS in order to brake effectively. You need to brake at 100 through ABS at full strength, so ABS effect won't give you anything. The traction control trigger also won't give you anything apart from some immersion feeling, as you really don't care when it kicks in either. Le Mans Ultimate gathering popularity, but same story, getting ABS effect won't give you anything, as same as in ACC. You have to brake hard through the ABS to be faster. Meanwhile, Le Mans Ultimate gives you a huge ABS effect on your wheels, so you definitely won't miss it. And iRacing, an icon of SimRacing. Their ABS system works as expected, and ABS effect might help you. It won't make you instantly faster, but in the long run, if you brake an iRacing triggering the ABS, it will heat up your tires and increase tire wear. Hot tires mean less grip, more mistakes and slower lap times. So in iRacing you want to brake on the ABS limit, and it appears that those haptics are valuable equipment only for a single game. And not just a game, but a single class within this game, which has ABS, the GT4 and GT3s. I couldn't get any reliable wheel lockup effect to work even through SimHub. It seems that iRacing doesn't export the telemetry nor wheel spin either. So ABS is the only effect we can get in the end. I disabled all the other effects and kept only the ABS feedback. And that's also why I have only one of those haptics on the brake pedal, purely for the iRacing GT3 class. I am not interested in having my ass shaking from every poop on the track. I just want to receive all the information about the car that can help me to go faster and consistently. Is it worth for iRacing? Yes, it does. Would I buy them for any other sim racing game with broken ABS physics like Le Mans Ultimate or ACC? Definitely not. Is it effective in the same way as active pedals? Well, kinda yes. Haptics effect is strong enough and you won't miss it, but active pedals different story and they offer very flexible customization. But does it worth the money? That's the real question. Hope it was helpful for you, and if you like this review, put a thumbs up and subscribe. All the best, happy racing, bye bye.